Hello there, first hour applied English. So I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're using this as a chance to catch up with your classmates in class as we're writing our essay for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Hey, first hour, everyone say A. Apparently they don't know what everyone means, but that's all right. I want to make sure that we can get lots written today. So if you are following along at home, please make sure that you are writing this on lined paper. I do want to collect essays and grade them over these next couple of weeks here. All I've done so far in our essay is given it a title. A good essay usually has a creative title, just centered right at the top right there. I've titled this one Characters and Christ, as we've decided to write largely about characters in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The other thing I'm going to do right now, just before we start writing our full paragraphs, is give this thing a heading. So first hour, you guys can follow me on screen, but I've also put an example heading on my whiteboard right above Lila's head over there. It always goes student name, teacher name, course, and date. I'll do that up on screen right now. Obviously, for your name, put your name, not the one I'm putting up here. I'm just going to use students, an example. There we go. Teacher name. This can go in the upper left-hand corner on your paper. Class is applied English. I'm going to give the hour right here just so I don't get lost because I have 4 essays to write today, 4 different classes. Then the dates. We'll do 29 November 2021. MLA is a little bit weird about how you do dates. If you use a different method for date, I won't get mad at you. 29 November 2021 would be how the MLA wants it. One thing I'm going to do, as you guys are getting your header down as well, is I'm going to double space my text. For you guys, you will want to leave yours single spaced on online paper. Don't feel like you have to double space. The reason why I double space on when I'm typing is it makes things a lot easier to see up on screen. So once again, if you're following on screen, it's heading, your name, don't call yourself student example, use your own name. My name, the course, and the dates, and then center a title right above your first paragraph. As we're doing that too, let me ask my in-person students right now. According to your outline, what am I doing first for my paragraphs? Which paragraph comes first? Yes, sir. Introduction comes first. So for those of you watching on screen, here's where I'm going to start pulling information from my outline. Obviously, my students in person have their outlines that they can use too, but let's get a introduction going here. As you guys write your paragraphs on paper, you'll want to indent. So space over just a little bit before your first paragraph. On my computer, all I have to do is hit tab. A trick for you guys writing in person is to take a finger or two and just use that as your space for indenting your first paragraph. Let me type my attention getter first, and then I'll walk around and make sure you guys are indenting just fine. To get my introduction going, I'll need to use my outline, which I have pulled up on screen. The nice thing for me, I'm going to make sure this is first hour. Yep. The nice thing for me, since I'm working on a computer, is I can copy paste. Obviously, you guys don't have that ability in handwriting, so I'll give some time to copy along in class. What we decided to do is use a question to start here. We discussed some other ideas. You could start this essay with like a quote or a Bible verse or define symbolism, but we're going to use our question that we wrote together. All I have to do is copy paste, Control-C, Control-V. Notice that mine's indented over just a little bit. I'm actually going to go ahead and copy in my entire introduction, and I'll give my students a chance to follow along and catch up as well. I should note there might be some jumps in the video just because of this copying along the way. Don't mind me, there's some spaces in our video feed. All right, so this is a spot where I'm gonna have to pause and let my students in class catch up. Might not be a bad idea to pause the video if you're following along at home. Again, handwriting your essay on line paper right here. Notice that I did indent over to start my paragraph. I would expect my students in class to do that as well. But I'm going to leave this up on screen for the sake of copying. Let me read this out loud, and then I'm going to walk around the classroom a bit to make sure my students are doing fine. How does it feel to be forgiven after doing something wrong? In the novel, one thing I realized is that I should spell out the full novel name right here. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The character Edmund is forgiven after he commits multiple sins. Specifically, Aslan rescues him from the White Witch. I don't need to give the title again, so I can just say in the story. C.S. Lewis uses characters. I can get rid of and symbolism because we crossed it off in our outline anyway, to show that Jesus Christ can forgive sins. What I did just a little bit there is I edited on the fly. We'll hopefully have some time in class tomorrow to do some proofreading too. First hour, is it okay if I move down a little bit past the heading so I can start looking at the body paragraph? Okay. Once again, if you're still copying the heading, please make sure you have all 4 of these parts. Your name, my name, the course, and then the date. All right, looks like my first hour class is doing a good job of copying along. I'm just going to start the process of my next body paragraph as well. I'd like to note for my students in person, if I'm ever going too quickly, please let me know and I can slow down a bit. Otherwise, you guys can catch up from each other or from watching this video. I am going to post this to Schoology for you guys. To move on to my body paragraph, I'm just going to go down to the next line. It looks like I need to indent again, so I'll hit tab, but I should say you guys don't necessarily have to skip a full line when you're writing by hand. Just go down to the next line and indent again to show me where that next paragraph begins. Now it's time to do body paragraph number 1. Let me switch over on screen here and let me find what we wrote for body paragraph 1. Do some copying and pasting right here. I'm just going to copy paste this entire block right here and get rid of some of the garbage up on screen. Control C. Control V. And notice I can get rid of the numbers and those kinds of things. Bye-bye. Tab. Get rid of this stuff. So what we've done so far there is our topic sentence and first piece of evidence for our first body paragraph. First of all, Edmund is an important character in the novel. On page 84, Mr. Beaver says, "Don't you understand? He's gone to her, to the White Witch. He has betrayed us all." I know evidence might take a little bit of time to copy just because there's quotation marks and everything. And as my class is copying down topic, sentence, and evidence, let me add in some commentary as well. Just moving further down my outline. We already did a lot of our heavy lifting already. We wrote just about everything in complete sentences. So now it's easy for me to just kind of continue with what we already did in our outline. As I look at my outline, it looks like we did a little bit not in complete sentences, so I'll have to freehand that on the essay. But let me give my first hour a chance to follow along here. First of all, Edmund is an important character in the novel. On page 84, Mr. Beaver says, "Don't you understand? He's gone to her, to the White Witch. He has betrayed us all." Edmund betrayed his family by leaving them for the White Witch. Even though he knows the witch is evil, he is still under her spell. Edmund is a symbol for all sinful people. That is a great body paragraph so far. As you guys are copying this down, I'll see what else I can add for evidence and commentary here. I just got to look at something real quick. I need to explain why the witch is evil. Look earlier in the text, chapters 3 through 5. I have a book, so I'll do that as you guys are copying here. All I'm going to do, actually, instead of adding more evidence right here, is I'm going to expand this commentary a bit. Edmund is a symbol for all sinful people because he knows, has cursed Narnia, but still follows her anyway. Our initial thought right there was to include some more evidence to discuss why the witch is evil. But one thing I noticed is that we already have a body paragraph planned about the witch. I don't want to say too much about her at this point. So I'm just going to try to keep the focus on Edmund. All that's left is our summary sentence, so I'll get that real quick as well. Because of Edmund's wrongdoing, he needs to find forgiveness. Now, I'll leave this body paragraph up on screen for a bit. It looks like we'll knock out one more today before we run out of time in class. But let me encourage my in-person learners to take their time as they copy down this body paragraph. By the way, I'll say this now. I'm going to have to cut out some portions of video, and that's totally fine. We should have some time tomorrow to go back and proofread. So if we make some mistakes or if we decide that something could be better tomorrow, I hope to have some time towards the end of class for that. Once again, I'm not expecting our essays to look super gorgeous, 1,000,000%. It's fine for us to cross things out, draw arrows, move things around. I hope to have some time tomorrow to look at that. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit, so I'll leave the bottom half of this paragraph open. Same process as before. To start a new paragraph, I go down to the next line. It actually indented automatically for me. Notice that I'm not making gigantic spaces between my paragraphs. You guys won't need to do that in handwriting either. I can tell a new paragraph starts when you indent. And now I'm just going to move forward in my outline. And we already did we do all this in complete sentences? You guys made it super easy. Once again, I know for typing it makes it so much easier for me because I can copy paste. The process for handwriting is a little bit slower. But regardless, we still did all the heavy lifting when we were outlining anyway. It makes drafting so much easier. Let me just get rid of some of this garbage here. Once again, as you guys are copying, I'll read it out loud. We'll just see if we like it. Next, Aslan is another key character in, I should spell out the full title right there. Notice that I italicized the title right there. I know that's really hard to do in handwriting, so underlining is usually what we would do there. Next, Aslan is another key character in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. After Aslan returns to Narnia, he forgives Edmund, I have an extra space there, and tells Peter, Susan, and Lucy to do the same. That 139 there is incredibly important, so don't forget that right there at the end of that sentence. Period goes after the parentheses. This shows how Aslan is very forgiving. He is actually a symbol for Jesus Christ. Like Jesus saving people from their sin, Aslan is the only one who can save Edmund from the witch. Good so far. I'm not sure if we decided to add more evidence or not in this paragraph, so I have to check my outline again. Notice that I'm bouncing back and forth between my outline and my draft. That is how it works in essay writing. We decided not to include more evidence here, so now it's just a matter of getting our summary sentence done. And that is our second body paragraph. We are past halfway on this essay. I think that's actually where we will stop our copying for today. I don't want to cause my first hour kids' hands to cramp, so I'll just give them a chance to wrap up this paragraph right here. I actually want to check in with something with my students in class right now. How many of you, if I would have come up to you yesterday and said we're going to write 3 paragraphs in class tomorrow, we're going to write half an essay in class tomorrow, how many of you would have believed me? Hands raised if you would have believed me. Yeah, I can believe it. Knocking out half an essay or so in 30 minutes, that kind of thing. Maybe some of you are like, Mr. Hantek, that's crazy. The whole idea here, and that I want you to see, is the power of outlining. Because we did our planning ahead of time, and because we took this in small bites, little bit by little bit, it made the essay writing process so much easier. I know a lot of this is me leading you guys through this up on screen, but this is really no different from what you can do on your own with just a little bit of practice and a little bit of planning as outlining works. I'll leave this up on screen for the sake of copying. If you are following along in video, I would encourage you to pause the video here so that you can copy along on your own, just on a piece of lined paper. We're going to wrap up our last 2 paragraphs in class tomorrow. Everyone say later. Lila's shaking her head no. My first hour class is lame. Peace, y'all.